What is going on, Cardano friends? Welcome to the channel. My name is Fareed, and in today's video, I've got Late Game Crypto, aka Josh, who's going to be joining me for a second interview, right, in which we're going to be talking about some of the projects that we both cover on our channels. Welcome, Josh. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited to be here. I'm glad we decided to make this a regular thing. I'm wondering if we should come up with some kind of a series name or something.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that. It's funny that you mentioned that. I was thinking about maybe like the content creator circle or something like that, but yeah, no, I'm definitely glad to be doing this on a much more consistent basis. That said, I mean, we're about to kick off the new year, man. How are you feeling about that?
Oh my gosh, I have so much planned for 2023.
Mm.
Some of my favorite projects have insane stuff planned for the year. I've been planning stuff for my YouTube channel, directions that I want to go, stuff that I want to create. It's going to be a legit year for Cardano, for myself, for projects that I'm excited about. It's I have no words.
I'm excited to hear what you got kind of brewing, man. I've definitely got some things brewing as well. So hopefully, I think towards like the middle of January, I'll finally be able to share that with the community. But like you said, man, I think the 2022 year was just really the beginning for Cardano, and so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what else comes as a part of 2023. Now, before we take it any further, Josh, I just want to kind of give the audience here that's listening to this video a quick idea as to what we're going to be chatting about. And so, first things first, we're just kind of talk about MELD, right, which is a project that I think we both cover quite often on our channels, which is a lending and borrowing platform. And we're just going to be highlighting the recent conclusion of the 25 Days of MELD and just kind of talking about our thoughts as it pertains to some of the partnerships and integrations that we saw there. After that, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Night Tavern, right, which is a Twitter space that you actually host in conjunction with the Knights Guild, which is a guild within the Cornucopias metaverse, right? And we're going to talk about our experience with that recent Twitter space that I was on, as well as J Crypto. Now, after that, we're going to dive in a little bit deeper into Cornucopias, right? Because they just had a recent Christmas NFT mint in which we saw a test mint, right, with Farmer Joe bobblehead. And then we also had a collaboration with Cheeky Crypto with the racing suit that also went up for sale. Now, after that, we're going to do something a little bit different, right? Which I think is what we are going to call the Project Spotlight, in which we're going to be talking about some of the projects that are kind of on our radar that we want to share with the community. So, how does that sound to you, man?
That sounds fantastic. Let's hit it.
Great, great, great. So first things first, if you guys are not already following Josh, right, or LGC on his YouTube channel, then definitely head over in order to do so. Again, he's going to be producing a lot of Cardano specific content. And again, we do have some overlap, which is actually why we're having these particular videos now on a monthly basis going forward. Now, having said that, I do want to give you guys a brief introduction to my particular channel, which is the Dapp Central YouTube channel. And so my goal here is to provide you guys in the community with the latest and greatest news when it comes to the top projects within Cardano. And so if that interests you, then please make sure to tap that like button. If you guys want more content like this that Josh and I will be producing, consider subscribing to both of our channels. And if you guys have any questions for Josh or myself, or about MELD or Cornucopias or the NFT projects that we're going to be spotlighting, then make sure to leave those down in the comment section below. All right, Josh, we've got the intros out of the way, man. Let's jump straight into the 25 Days of MELD. For anyone who doesn't know what this actually was, right, this was a series of collaborations and partnerships that the MELD team started announcing, I believe, in early December, all the way until the actual Christmas day. So, Josh, let's talk about your thoughts, and let's actually just kind of highlight some of the partnerships and announcements that you kind of found to be your favorite, right? So, I'm going to turn it over to you to kind of talk about those two announcements, and obviously, we'll talk about mine here in just a second.
For sure. Yeah, no, I so Gero Wallet was my favorite partnership that was announced. It's one that I've known about for a minute, but haven't really been able to talk about because it hasn't been public yet, and it's been something that they've been working on. Gero Wallet was the first project, the first Cardano-based project that I discovered, and I've stuck with it this entire time because it has still so much potential. It's I don't even know where to start. It's another project that I've gotten involved with as an ambassador. So I'm very well connected with what's happening there, what they're building on the inside. And I've gotten to this point where I have repeated this idea that it's inappropriate to call Gero Wallet a wallet because that's not it doesn't encompass all of what it is. It is a Cardano-based Web3 suite, and what they're going to be building that should be much more comprehensive and completed in 2023 is an all-in-one place. You will never have to leave your Gero Wallet dashboard, and that includes an integration with the Meld app. And I think that it was a genius move because I think that all of the things that Gero Wallet is putting into their platform, into their dashboard, between native analytics that are only going to be specific to Gero Wallet, to decentralized applications that are wildly popular and highly anticipated, like Meld, it's any project that is integrated into the Gero Wallet dashboard is going to see traffic because I'm still convinced that Gero Wallet is going to be the most used Cardano wallet in 2023.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I had the opportunity to actually speak with Sean Roller, right, who I believe is one of the co-founders, and he gave me access to their mobile application, right? So that was really interesting for me to just kind of play around with. I actually have a tutorial, which I'll leave down in the description below for anyone who's interested, but I had the opportunity to essentially buy ADA, right? Without having to go through Coinbase or without having to go through Binance. So that was one of the first key things I really liked about the Gero wallet. The second was that they're bringing a DEX aggregator to the platform, right? So if anyone's not aware of what an aggregator is, it's essentially a method of providing people who are trying to purchase tokens the cheapest possible option in order to do so, right? So it looks across different dexes in Cardano, i.e. MinSwap, Muesli Swap, even Sunday Swap, and Wing Riders, and it finds the best token prices and gives that to you. So that was another key point that I really liked about it. But to just sum it all together, to tie it back all together, they also had the ability to essentially purchase NFTs directly from within the mobile wallet, right? So that was a huge one for me, especially with all of the craze that we've now seen within the NFT space, right? And all the adoption that we're getting, for them to be able to integrate all of those particular features into one single, and like you said, I don't even know if me calling it a wallet is fair at this point, right? But into one single application was huge for me. And not only, are they going to be launching with an Android version, which is already available to the public, but they're also going to be launching on the Apple iStore, or the Apple Play Store, I should say. So I think that's
Mhm.
going to give them a lot of visibility, obviously a lot of credibility, and a lot of adoption, I think, once people realize what they're building. So I completely agree with you, man. That was definitely a huge collaboration. I'm not sure if people really realized, how important that was for Meld. But I definitely agree with you that, they are doing a really good job, and they definitely need to be getting adopted a lot more than they currently are. And hopefully over the course of the next year, which will be 2023, people, kind of start to look at and see exactly what it is that they're building.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think people will start to take attention, and even if they don't, like I am most comfortable with the Giro wallet. I've issued this challenge before on my channel, and I've taken an honest effort into looking into it myself. But they have the highest security standards, as far as I'm concerned, compared to any other Cardano wallet. I looked at the development teams for everybody that has a Cardano wallet, and I can't find any one of them that has a dedicated security specialist that is working on their team. And I can see the security standards when I'm screen recording. I can see that Jira Wallet has protections to make sure that nobody can see what's happening on your screen when you're typing in passwords and things like that. It's
Hmm.
just it's incredibly important. I'm a major advocate for crypto security, and this is just one of those areas that I push it for Cardano users.
Yeah, and that was actually something that I noticed too when I was actually doing the screen recording for my tutorial videos, like you said. When I was entering certain passwords and things like that, the inputs were hidden. So that's really good, man. I see that you're paying attention to the detail, and that's actually not something that I thought about. But yeah, in hindsight, that definitely makes sense. And it's those kind of quality of life things that we really need to think about moving
Mhm.
forward. So having said that, is there anything else that you want to talk about when it comes to Jira Wallet? If not, let's talk about, the second partnership that I think that you found pretty interesting.
No, I think that covers it on Gero Wallet. High security standards. At this point, I basically associate Sean Roller with user interface, user experience research on Cardano, just because he's so invested in it and so passionate about it that I just I can't see anybody else competing with what Gero Wallet is pursuing, and they've been slow to develop at first, but it's going to be totally worth it.
I completely agree with you on that one, man. So, moving on, I want to say that the second partnership that you wanted to highlight, and correct me if I'm wrong, was Meld's collaboration with the Avalanche network or the Avalanche blockchain. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is. Yes, this one caught me off guard. I was not expecting this one, and it is transformational for like the direction of where Meld is going. For the longest time, I've been an ambassador for them since the very beginning, like early July, like when they kicked off the ISPO. And since the beginning, like I have seen issues that they have had in developing on Cardano. That's not to FUD Cardano. I think Cardano is going places, but uh, a lot of the issues that they have had and other projects have been a lot of the natural difficulties that come along with developing, the next generation tech of blockchain technology. And I get it, that makes sense, but the partnership with Ava Labs, with Avalanche, it changes the capabilities of what Meld is able to deliver still on blockchain technology and still consistent with their mission of being multi-chain, of being chain agnostic. They can deliver blockchain-based products and they're not just limited to what they can build on one particular blockchain. And I think that this means a whole load of stuff of how Meld is going to operate. I want to say that if I understand it correctly, it sounds like they may at some point need node operators to be able to operate this new Meld sub Avalanche blockchain situation. Um, so it opens up a whole load of opportunities for users, for people that want to be a part of the project. It's just it caught me off guard. It's a really really big announcement, and I'm really excited to see the direction that this takes us and how much more we could see coming out of Meld, how much more attention we could see Meld getting because of this expansion, because of this partnership.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you just said there. I think in terms of mass adoption, this is something that is inevitable, right? Sticking off or starting off, I should say, in Cardano is a great start, but that shouldn't necessarily be the end all be all, right? And when you look at some of these other top blockchains, they've got bridges reaching out to other ecosystems and other environments, right? And so I think the fact that Meld is understanding that and they're trying to tap into that essentially by now starting off on Cardano, but then now building a bridge to connect the EVM world with Cardano is a great objective. Now, that means a few things for us as content creators too. So I want to just kind of highlight that too, right? So that means that we're now going to have to understand and start to learn about Avalanche, which it's
Yep.
something that's new for me. Obviously, your channel, I think my channel are mostly Cardano based. And
Hmm.
so it's going to essentially force us to kind of branch out and test some new waters.
Yep.
But I also talked with this to Ken, right? So I had the opportunity to interview him in one of my last videos, which I'll also leave down in the description below. But it also means that people from Avalanche are inevitably going to have to learn about Cardano too. So
Hmm.
I think it's a little bit of us giving and it's a little bit of take as well in the sense that we have to learn about them and they're going to have to learn about us.
Hmm.
But ultimately, this is going to drive a lot more liquidity into Meld, a lot more users, a lot more eyeballs,
Hmm.
which essentially is great for the entire DeFi space, right? So it's not only going to
Absolutely.
benefit Cardano, but it's also going to benefit all these other EVM platforms that we kind of branch out to. And I talked to Ken about this too. It really made me understand the importance of Meld partnering up with the multi-chain app, right?
Hmm.
Because we're now going to need a way to essentially move our MELD tokens between Cardano and these other EVM based networks. We're no
Hmm.
longer, just focusing on just Cardano now, right? So if you want to move your assets over into, Avalanche network or some kind of other EVM platform, you're gonna have to use the multi-chain app in order to do that. So that was a really cool integration that I kind of look back in hindsight and I'm like, okay, I see why Meld did that, right? So
Hmm.
really cool. But again, I agree with the fact that this is really good. And I think it's going to benefit the entire blockchain or the entire crypto space as a whole.
Yep, definitely. Yeah. Uh, yeah, it's nuts. My brain is still processing it. It's been like a week after the announcement has been made, and it's just uh, there's so much potential there. I'm at a loss for words. It's no longer going to be limited to, and it's no wonder that the price action of meld tokens lately has been uh, pretty substantial, and it's because people are realizing that the populations of people that are going to be picking up meld tokens because of where you can use meld tokens, it's doubled at this point because now it's not just Cardano, now it's Avalanche, and eventually it'll be not just Cardano and Avalanche, but it'll also be Polygon 2 and everything else that Akamon connects us to, and all of the other partnerships like multi-chain, the Kyber network. It's the the potential for what Meld is able to connect to just exploded. It's There's nowhere that Meld isn't not looking.
Yes, and I I think that that's all on purpose, right? I think that the way that they move is very methodical, and even on my prior interview with Ken, he did a really good job of mentioning that they're not being selective in who they're choosing to collaborate with, right? I talked about some of the dexes that they were planning on integrating as a part of their testnet coming up on January 16th, and he made it very clear, like, we're not picking this particular dex versus this other particular dex. Like, we're working with everybody. And so that mantra is not only being applied within the particular Cardano ecosystem, but it's also being applied to other networks as a whole. So I'm excited to see what this becomes in the near future. And yeah, let's just kind of keep things moving on. So we've talked about two things there, right? First was the Gero Wallet partnership. You've talked about the Avalanche partnership. Now I want to just kind of talk about two partnerships that I found to be pretty interesting, right? One of them is actually not really a partnership. We'll get to that here in just a second. But Meld essentially announced as well that they've now got their electronic money institution license, or their EMI license. And so, if you guys don't already know, Meld is not only going to be a crypto to crypto platform, but it's also going to be a crypto to fiat platform, right? So, regular people who are long on crypto are able to, use their existing crypto positions as collateral in exchange for actual US dollars, which is going to be brand new. We've got the likes of AVA, Compound, who I think have really kind of perfected the crypto to crypto model, but not necessarily the crypto to fiat portion of things. So I know that Ken mentioned Nahal, who is their chief strategy officer, has essentially kind of taken that effort over. And he did a really good job of, I think, updating the community as to kind of where they stood when it came to the neobank progress. But I think the fact that they've now essentially confirmed that their EMI license is ready to go is a huge part, into what they're going to be doing when it comes to crypto to fiat. So I'm excited about that. I'm not sure, what you think about that, but I know that once that rolls out in this coming, hopefully, Q2 or Q3 of this year, the crypto to fiat portion of things, that we're really going to start to see the power of this license that they've recently gained approval for.
Yeah, no, it's a major milestone in the legitimacy of Meld, both from the blockchain perspective of crypto users that are wanting to use the protocol, but also from the just traditional finance sectors. The world can see that like there is a crypto project that is actively dealing with fiat, and also they don't just offer crypto services. Like they've got gold backed stablecoin. They've got a variety of US dollar stablecoins and euro stablecoins. That they're just the scope in which Meld has looked at things is has in my mind just always been impressively creative, incredibly comprehensive, and just out of this world useful. So I'm excited about this one too. It's a big milestone.
Likewise, very excited to see what they're going to be doing on that end. Keeping things moving a little bit further, let's switch gears and talk about the recent release of the Bank Manager NFTs. Yeah, I know. That's what the entire community was saying when they saw that announcement. That was a long time coming. So, for those of you who don't know, Meld had their ISPO, I want to say, kicked off towards the summertime of 2021, essentially, when the bull run was still pretty heavy. It was still going on. And what Meld decided to do after the ISPO ended was reward users who participated as a part of their ISPO, right? So we saw Meld basically say, hey, if you participated in the ISPO and you delegated for at least one epoch, we're going to reward you with what we call the Bank Manager NFTs. Now they went through a couple iterations, right, where we saw like this hyper realistic version of the NFTs, and then we also saw, some other representations of Ken, Vitalik, and other members, within just the crypto space in general. Having said that, they kind of dropped this brand new art style on us on the 24th day of announcement. So they kind of held off until the very end on that one, and I can really see why, right? So I'm sharing right now on my screen here the new Bank Manager NFTs, and man, when I tell you the artwork, the style, and just how they delivered this was so impressive. I remember looking at the Bank Manager NFT page before they released this new version, and I was thinking to myself, man, I think they forgot to update this page. Why do they still have this old version of Bank Manager NFTs here? They haven't touched this page for such a long time. And when they released this announcement, they just released this revamped page as well, which I'm now just kind of scrolling through to give the viewers an idea of what it looks like. And I mentioned this to Ken. Their attention to design and detail is unmatched in this space. I don't think there's anybody else that comes anywhere to being close to them when it comes to their approach and their delivery as it pertains to design. And I'm just in love with the artwork, man. But like, what are your thoughts on this Bank Manager NFTs and how they actually went about revealing these to the community?
My attitude in the past year in interacting with NFTs has very openly and publicly been I don't care about the art in the slightest. Like, just do something with real use case that is actually moving in a forward direction in the world of NFTs. As I have spent some time in the space, I have, I guess, kind of become a little more open to the artwork. And in this particular case, I get why they waited so long for it. I mean, like the use case has been delayed one way or the other, but the artwork that they have been able to produce as a result of going through so many different artists, it is truly unique, and not just on Cardano, but it's a 40,000 collection, which is a lot. But it's just that this is a Bank Manager NFT. It stands out, and I think that's huge for branding. I think that's huge for its existence in the NFT space. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it actually.
Likewise, and let's just kind of just give the viewers here a little bit about the actual utility of these NFTs, right? So as it states here on the website, you'll be able to use the bank managers to connect to your ID, right? So within the Meld app, I think that you'll be able to use these as some kind of digital identifier of your, relationship to the Meld app. On top of that, you'll be able to use NFTs to boost your APY. So if you're providing liquidity to the Meld protocol, you can actually use the bank managers to essentially get an additional yield boost. If you're using it to borrow on the Meld protocol, it'll be providing some interest reduction property. So you'll be able to get a slight discount in terms of your loan interest rate. And then in addition to that, it'll give you early access to additional features on the Meld platform, which I kind of want to hear your thoughts as to potentially what those early access features could be, right? And then the very last thing that they have on their website is golden tickets, which I've got no clue what that means, right? And we're obviously pretty close, I think, to the project, but like I'm still kind of wondering, what is Meld going to do in terms of golden bank managers? And we already know that they've got two at least earmarked for members within their Discord. So if you guys, want to get an opportunity to potentially earn one of these golden bank managers, which out of the 42,000, there's only going to be 10 of those available, right? So that makes them very valuable and I think very rare. Then head over into the Discord and essentially just interact, and you'll be eligible to potentially win one of them, depending on how much you interact within the Discord. But jumping back to you, what are your thoughts about the utility of the bank managers, and what are your thoughts on the golden bank managers?
So I've bragged about before me being a part of the conversation that developed the Bank Manager's NFT utility, but I mean the reality is that like I was just allowed to suggest things for what could be used as a utility. I have no clue. This golden ticket thing is way at a left part for me. I haven't heard a lick of things about anything resembling that. I have suggested in the past, like, either Diamond Hands or Bank Managers NFTs having some kind of a discount utility to the Meld merch store. Um, that seems like a pretty easy utility to implement, but Meld has never been about like going with what's easy or what's simple to deliver. So something looks like there has been thought put in there, and I have no clue what it is.
Yeah, we'll definitely, I think, both be keeping our ears to the ground. And obviously, as those updates come out, I'm sure you'll share them on your platform. And I will definitely make sure to do that with my audience as well. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up for our chat about the 25 Days of Meld again. Josh highlighted the partnership with Gero Wallet, as well as the partnership with AVA Labs. And then I mentioned the EMI license and the recent release of the Bank Manager NFTs. Now, we're going to switch gears and talk about another project that we both kind of have some overlap with within our channels, which is going to be the Cornucopias project, right? So Cornucopias is going to be a play to earn, learn to earn, build to earn, and even a host to earn, right? It's like the list never stops. Metaverse building on Cardano. And they're also going to be doing that using Unreal Engine 5, which is one of the latest and greatest building engines for video games, right? As it pertains to right now. So, having said that, Josh, you're a part of the Knights Guild, right? Which is a guild within the Cornucopias metaverse. There's also the Corn Mafia, and there's also, I want to say, the Tunnel Vision Guild, and there's, I'm sure, going to be additional ones that pop up in the coming future. But you were nice enough to reach out to me and Jay Crypto, who's another metaverse influencer, right, on Cardano, and you essentially asked us to come on to what you guys call the Knights Tavern, where we basically just kind of poked around at some of the potential utility and the future use cases for guilds, as well as just the Cornucopias metaverse as a whole. And so I just want to just kind of start off with that and what your thoughts were as to that particular interaction. And then we're going to move over and talk about the Cornucopias Christmas NFT drop and what we can expect from the Kopi team in the year of 2023.
There are bittersweet memories that are associated with that Twitter space because the conversation was so good. I think incredibly fruitful. I think we pointed out things about Cornucopias that it was just a very fruitful conversation about the uniqueness of Cornucopias, the direction that it's headed, and how genius they are in the realm of marketing and development. And I forgot to hit the record button, so that Twitter space is lost forever, and I hate myself for it. um, but it was a pleasure to have you guys both on there. It really was a super fruitful conversation. I had a lot of comments in the Knights Guild later on, and they talked about how much they appreciated the thought and content that was brought to that. It was a great Twitter space.
Yeah, it really was. And that is unfortunate that, we weren't able to keep that recording, but I think the interaction in just doing it live, right? Like I definitely will remember that for a long time to come. Now, having said that, I do want to give a shout out to Juju, who is, I want to say, one of the founding members of the guild, right? Who, in collaboration with you, gave us that platform. And then I also want to give a huge shout out to Moody Hound, who is a member of the Knights Guild, who also collaborated with us and had some really good insight too. And it was really interesting to see him and Jay Crypto kind of go back and forth on certain things because they're, I think, much more of experts in that sense that like I obviously understand Cornucopias, but like Jay Crypto literally lives in the metaverse, right? Him and what is his name that he collaborates with? Oh
Oh,
my goodness,
subcritical.
subcritical, yes. Good. Oh my goodness, he's gonna look at this and he's probably gonna be like, man, they forgot me. But no, him and subcritical, I think, do a really good job of mapping out the metaverse and just watching that genuine conversation, right, about the future of guilds in the metaverse between Moody Hound and J Crypto was very insightful for me, right? Because again, I have an understanding of it, but I think that they both are really just kind of deep into that sense. So hopefully we can have another one, where we actually make sure to hit the record button. But if you guys are in the community, guys, definitely make sure to actually go and check out the Knights Tavern talk. I actually believe you guys had one today. How was that one?
Oh, it was great. We had Stephen Aldrich, that is a moderator for Cornucopias and does a few other things, but he is the unbiased arbiter of the Cornucopias Guild Alliance, and we talked about the uniqueness of this mechanism, not just that Cornucopias has guilds, which doesn't really exist in other like metaverses and stuff, but also we have a collaboration of guilds that are looking to enforce and produce the most fair Cornucopias metaverse that can possibly be produced. And it's friendly competition. We're trying to produce a healthy in-game financial ecosystem, and I think that this is a great foundation to build on.
Yeah, hopefully, again, you guys will be able to share this recording with the community. And if you guys are interested, definitely make sure to go and check out what Josh is doing there. Especially as a host, man, I know like you've gotten introduced into the guild, and you've done, I think, a really good job of spreading and using what you're able to do, which is create content and leverage that for the guild community to hopefully have them grow in the near future. Now that we're done with that, though, let's kind of shift gears a little bit and let's talk about the NFT drops that recently happened for the Kopi team, right? So they had three NFT drops scheduled. One of them unfortunately got delayed, which was the lighting kit for the NFTs, right? For the vehicle NFTs, I should say. So we've got the Bubble Jet, the OG Bubble Jet, the GTI Javelin, and then there's some other NFT vehicles that are still kind of in the works, which we haven't really gotten a chance to get our hands on in terms of public sales yet. But that particular sale was bumped out. So that was a little unfortunate, but we did still get the Farmer Joe NFT sale, which was essentially a test mint in which we saw the Cornucopias team officially start accepting on their own marketplace purchases for NFTs using the Kopi token. So that was like a huge milestone for the team in the sense that I want to say, not only have they built out their own NFT marketplace, but they've now also have done such an amazing job because now they can accept payments using Kopi. So I actually used that to purchase my test bobblehead NFT, and I participated in the Chicky Crypto NFT sale as well, and I paid for my NFT using Kopi. So like, what are your thoughts about that and just what they're building? Because again, they're one of the first teams to build such a legitimate NFT marketplace that has, a queuing system, anti-bot measures, and just all these different capabilities, with the latest one being the acceptance of the Kopi token. But like, what are your thoughts about what they're building and what they've shown us so far that they're able to deliver on?
The minting experience with Cornucopias has been out of this world, and they have easily one of the best in the space, if not the best in the space. And this development of being able to pay for mints in Cardano native tokens is not just a huge development for Cornucopias. It's a huge development for Cardano. I am not aware of anybody else that has been able to do this, and I think that the general Cardano community doesn't realize how difficult this is to do. This has been something that lots of projects have been working on for a long time, trying to use a Cardano native token to use as a minting token. And to the best of my knowledge, it hasn't been done yet. And Cornucopias being able to do that, it just adds to the incredible minting experience that they've been able to produce.
I completely agree with that. Now we're able to snag some of the Farmer Joe bobblehead NFTs.
Yeah, I went a little degen on these ones actually. I wasn't planning on participating very much at all. But because the bobblehead was next to free, I participated in that one, and I was able to mint three of them. However many times they redid it because the mint wasn't particularly popular for whatever reason. So I minted it three times. And then I bought like 10 of them on secondary markets.
Yeah, that's a
um,
wise move.
yeah, no, the price was just like is pretty irresistible, honestly, and with some kind of last minute announcements about what the utilities would be for it, and how they're going to be kind of creating this series of collectible bobbleheads that will have less than a 10,000 NFT supply, and you'll be able to get access to that using just the Santa bobbleheads that were like 10 ADA a piece. They could come out with some pretty like collectible exclusive bobblehead NFTs that are stupid rare, and maybe you can only get them by purchasing a bobblehead NFT. It seems like the direction that they're headed is that like the Santa bobbleheads are actually going to have some accessibility that won't be deliverable through any other means. And I think that with the scarcity of the Santa bobbleheads decreasing progressively over time as they pursue this bobblehead thing, and with the potential of what kind of bobbleheads they could release as a result of this, I saw a bunch of value there. I think there could be utility added to future bobbleheads where if you've got a bobblehead on your dashboard, like you can get access to places that other people can't get access to, whether it be a custom dome accessibility or it be some kind of like early access zone activity or something. That there's a lot of potential there, and I saw a lot of value on both ends, whether it be hodling the bobbleheads and seeing where they go, or seeing what they could turn this whole bobblehead thing into. I thought that it was really cool. I didn't initially plan on participating as hard as I did, but yeah, I my mind went through some wild speculation that led me
Right.
to pick up quite a few common and uncommon ones.
Yeah, the opportunity I think, like you said, is there. They think, or not they think, but they announce that in the future we'll be able to essentially use this as a way, right, to get early access to future bobblehead mint. So now that I think they've kind of done a test mint, they've seen, what they're capable of doing. Moving forward, hopefully we get even more utility. But
Hmm.
now having the Santa, right, you could essentially burn that, i.e., get rid of it, but then
Hmm.
get early access to whatever else they have in the future. So I think it's a nice little bit of utility already up front.
Yep.
And I'm excited to see how else they leverage the bobbleheads in the future. Now, the second NFT sale was the Cheeky Crypto racing suit. So I'm also sharing that here with the viewers, right? And these were super high quality, and they were done in collaboration with the Cheeky Crypto YouTube channel, or the Cheeky Crypto team, right? Which they're also a group of influencers within the crypto space, but they have access to essentially Cryptopia, which is a VC capital firm, right? Which invests in some of these early projects and startups. So one of the bits of utilities for this, in addition to discounts on their merch store, was that if you owned one of these NFTs, that you could also participate in some of the VC sales that the Cryptopia team has access to. So that upfront again was really good to see. Obviously, the discount on the merch store is great. And it's funny because that's essentially what you mentioned earlier about what Meld could potentially do, right? Give people early access or discounts on their particular platforms as well. But did you participate in this one? And what were your thoughts about this particular NFT mint?
I did participate in this one. I completely contrary to my regular practices in the NFT world, I was in this one purely for cosmetic purposes. I just wanted racing suits that I'll be able to wear in game, and as somebody that comes from a gaming background, I am aware of the potential of cosmetic products in games and how sought after they are. So I bought a few. Um, all I wanted really was a red one, which is in the rare category, and I managed to get one with um, the serial number for it is my birth year. So I was
Wow,
pretty excited to get
nice.
that one. Yeah.
No, that's cool. And I participated as well. And like you said, this is cosmetic, so we do want to make sure that people are aware. Owning one of the racing suits is not going to give you any additional perks within the actual racing platform being built within Cornucopias. But I think this is a really good gateway, and it'll be interesting because I know Cornucopias is trying to take an esports route as well, right? Taking a look at professional gaming, and uniforms is what comes to my mind when I see these racing suits. Like imagine, being a part of some kind of esports team where you get your own specific racing suit, to where, when you're riding around in the Kopi metaverse, people at a glance know exactly what team you're with just based off of your racing suit. So this was an awesome one. Again, like I said before, ended up purchasing my Cheeky Crypto NFTs using the Kopi token, which was a seamless experience on my end. And so I just want to give the team a huge shout out and a congratulations as to what they're building on that end now. It was a little bit interesting though, because we did see that they did not sell out. This was, I think, one of the first Kopi mints that did not sell out, right? Now, I think that there's a few factors that play into this, and I kind of want to hear your thoughts on this as well. But the NFT sales that we saw previously, right, were towards the I want to say towards the end of the bull run for the NFTs, because I think NFTs kind of topped out a little bit after Cardano did as a whole, which was kind of like in the September, November area, right? We still kind of saw NFTs getting a ton of attention going into the year of 2022, all the way up until about, I would say, like Marchish. Now, that was around the time that we saw the Kopi team have the NFT sales for the OG Bubble Jet and the GTI Javelin, which those sold out like almost instantly, right? And so to kind of see that like these did not sell out as quickly as they did, the team announced that they would essentially be capping off the supply as to whatever was actually minted, right? So this was, I believe, the first NFT sale, which the team didn't necessarily sell out, but they had a plan, right? Which was essentially, hey, we're not going to mint these, so those will essentially kind of be burned and not given out to the community, which kind of made these a little bit more scarce in that sense. But what are your thoughts on that?
I think that these NFTs that they minted were different than other things that we've seen come out of Cornucopias before. Cornucopias and other metaverses in general are primarily consisting of investors and speculators at this point. People are purchasing Cornucopias assets and other metaverse assets because they see uh, potential in the use case of it. When Cornucopias launches, you'll be able to drive around in a bubble jet or GTI Javelin. When Cornucopias launches, you'll be able to claim land in the metaverse and develop on that land and play with it. The people that are buying these assets are people that want to use it for those things that are designed for it, or people that are speculating on the future perceived value of people that want to utilize those use cases. In the case of the bobblehead, and I think more so the cheeky crypto suit, uh, they were very cosmetic assets that is much more about appearance than it is about utility. And even with the bobblehead mints, like really there was only like a third of the supply that minted, and it only the only reason it sold out is because it was next to free, and they allowed people to mint it again later on. So yeah, I think these NFTs are just different than other things that Cornucopias has come out with before, and I think it has everything to do with the state of where crypto is, where Cornucopias is right now. These are not utility based assets. These are cosmetic stuff, which I think has potential in the future for when Cornucopias gets big, but it's not something that people are looking to use in the metaverse.
That's a fair point. Now, I just want to quickly wrap up again, just kind of recapping what we discussed, right? Which was the Knights Tavern Talk, which you guys host every, I want to say Saturday. Is that accurate? Is it every Saturday?
Yeah, we make accommodations for guests whenever we can, if they can't make the time that we usually do it. But yeah, we usually aim for Saturdays.
Cool, cool. So again, you guys definitely make sure to attend those. Go and just interact with the Knights Guild, and just get some of that useful information. I also want to say huge shout out to Steve, right, for jumping on there with you guys and helping you guys kind of raise awareness as to what you guys are doing and what you guys are building there. Now, having said that, Josh, we're going to kind of keep things moving in. I'll give you a second to kind of clear up things on your end. I can still hear you.
Okay.
But we've talked about the Kopi Christmas NFT drop, Farmer Joe in the racing suit. And so, in kind of closing, we're going to wrap up in this new segment, right, which is going to be what we call the Project Spotlight segment. Now, what I want to raise first is a project that you kind of put on my radar, which is going to be the Frescos NFT. So turning it over to you, Josh, do you want to kind of speak a little bit about Frescos, what they're building, and what we can actually expect, from this platform here? And I'm sharing right now their website here, which essentially outlines what they're doing and what they're bringing to the Cardano space.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll just kind of talk along with the images that you've got shown. I was one of the first influencers that started talking about Frescos NFTs, and
Hmm.
to this day, I feel like it is the best real world utility that you can get out of any Cardano NFT. You can get discounts on any of their partnered hotels
Hmm.
on the planet, which has expanded gosh, I don't know how many times over, but I want to say they're partnered with something like 130 hotels at this point, and they started with just like a three, four, five ish. Um, but my boy Minos, he is the founder of this project, and he's a hotel owner himself. He knows the business. he launched this NFT project that's only 1,000 total supply,
Hmm.
and it is it's brilliant, the integration that he's made and the moves that he's making to push crypto adoption on a larger scale. These hotels that he's partnered with, he's trying to get them to take a deeper look at crypto to get them more exposure to the world of crypto, and he is really transforming the industry. Oh, hey, there we go. Okay.
Perfect. I got you back on. Awesome.
Yeah, Frescos NFTs is to say that it's underrated is the understatement of the century, because I think it provides huge utility that you can't find anywhere else. The project is incredibly sustainable. It's not something that relies at all on the sales of the actual NFTs. It's built on real business, and I admire this project so much.
Yeah, so I'm just sharing some information again here with the viewers, and we can see that right now. This is a collection of one NFTs, right? And there's going to be a total of 999 of them. They're also actively trading on JPEG.store with a royalty currently set at 2.5%. In terms of rarities, it says all paintings are unique and are digitally hand drawn without layers. Rarities are of no importance for this collection, and all NFTs are of equal value in regards to utility. Now, there's also some additional information here about the Frescos Travel Agency. So it says here, the Frescos Travel Agency is a licensed business that offers the best available rates to holders of the Frescos NFTs and of the NFT projects, that we are partnered with. And so I think that just kind of summarizes what you mentioned there again. And huge shout out to what they're doing, bringing some real world utility, right, to the NFT space if you're an owner of the Frescos NFT. At the bottom of the webpage here, we've got the official verified policy ID. So if you guys in the community are interested in purchasing or picking up one of these Frescos NFTs, definitely make sure to head over to jpeg.store. Make sure that's the correct policy ID. But again, Josh, thank you for bringing this up for the community and us to discuss. Now, I'm going to, again, turn it back over to you. And I want to just kind of highlight the next project that we wanted to kind of spotlight here within this platform, right? Which is going to be the previously known as Ada Ninja's NFT collection, which has now been renamed to Danketsu, right? So, give us a brief update. I know that you actually released an entire video, right? Just kind of talking about the rebrand. But if people here have not heard of them, what are they all about?
Yeah, so Ada Ninjas has always been known as a manga storytelling NFT, but that's it's so limiting to what it actually is. These guys are building a multimedia empire, and they have developed such a diverse range of things. First of all, the manga series that they have created, it's all community driven. So holders of these NFTs get to vote on the direction of the story, which I think is awesome and provides for incredible community interaction. The community is the developers of the story, and I think that's really cool. But they've also created a video game, and it's NFT enabled. So if you own one of the NFTs, you can jump on and play the video game, which is pretty cool. I find it very difficult. It's a hard game. I'll leave it at that. Simple but hard, and it's coming with some more functionality to it. They have produced uh, like K-pop. I don't know if that's an accurate, but they've produced anime music, original anime music, and they have a studio that they're working with in LA that has produced this. They've got this whole professional studio set up and everything. They're on Spotify and they've streamed something like 250 to probably 300,000 streams at this point. So they're really reaching out there and getting out to people outside of the world of blockchain. And this rebrand to Danketsu um, is sort of in an effort to become more blockchain agnostic, but also more friendly to the Web 2 world. Before they have launched their animated anime series, which is something that they're in development and is they're already slated for like a 14 episode series or something like that, and the reach that they're aiming for, the people that they're getting out to and connecting with and working with, they're already doing so much to expand exposure to Cardano, exposure to blockchain, and it's through this wildly historically popular genre of anime, and I think that it's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about the K-pop portion of things that you just mentioned, so that's brand new to me. But it definitely seems like they know what they're doing, and they've got quite a few different collections. As I'm just kind of scrolling through here on JPEG.store, and the artwork I will say is I like the style. I like the way that they're hand drawn, and I like how they all look different. Right? I think
Hmm.
so many
Hmm.
times we see a lot of collections, especially when you've got multiple collections. Right? You kind of start to run out of ideas because you've already kind of done things in the past. So looking at these and looking at how they're all just completely different in the sense that, we've got male characters, female characters, different artifacts that they're all holding in different positions. It's really cool to see. And again, the fact that they're also doing things outside of just the NFT space, i.e. the actual NFT collectibles, right? Like you mentioned, the music and getting all these different streaming platforms is really cool.
Hmm.
And so hopefully, this is raising awareness to them. And if there's anybody that's interested in picking up one of these, again, you guys can head over to jpeg.store in order to do so. Any closing thoughts or comments on what they're building?
I think that just about covers it. I mentioned before that like I've never cared really about the art. It's always been about the utility, and Ada Ninjas has always been the exception to that. I'm a huge fan of anime. It's been a huge part of my childhood, and I know that I'm not alone in that. This is a huge industry that they're using to advance blockchain and advance Cardano. And yeah, I like the rebrand too. Danketsu is an interesting name.
Yeah, you're definitely not alone in that sense, man. I didn't realize how many people within the crypto space as a whole are into, mangas and this different type of artwork and just presentation. Like it really is a genre of its own. So I'm excited for it. I'll definitely be making sure to keep an eye out for them. And just on this note, man, I remember you reaching out with one NFT that actually had my name. Now, I didn't pick it up and I kind of regret not doing so. So I might have to see if that one is still out on the market. But that NFT literally had the same exact name as I did. And I don't know how they generate those names, but I find that my name is actually pretty unique. And that's no pun intended because my name actually means unique.
Oh, no
So
kidding.
yeah, that's something there. So again, man, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on what the Ada Ninjas platform is bringing to Cardano as well as the Frescos NFT. And so kind of switching over to my last two picks right before we wrap up this video, as it pertains to NFT projects or just regular projects that we want to highlight, I wanted to bring up the POKI platform. And so I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If there's anybody who's actually a member or a builder from this platform, then definitely, reach out to me if I'm not pronouncing this correctly. But the website is getpoki.com. And if you guys navigate over to their website, man, I think these guys are doing something that's very, very unique. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again here with the viewers. And what we're looking at now is their homepage, right? So at the very top, we've got a portfolio section, an account section, a market section, and a roadmap if you're interested in seeing what they're going to be building out. But essentially, they're a mobile Cardano NFT portfolio, right? So right now, I think there's a lot of hype within Cardano as it pertains to NFTs. And I think that there's not necessarily an easy way to keep track of your profits, losses, or the previous history, right? As it pertains to the price of your NFT collection, especially as you pick up new ones as time goes on. So, what this particular team is doing is essentially trying to simplify that. And I think they've done a really good job of essentially building first and then kind of developing and pushing out their product, right? So, it's not something that is still in the works. Like, you guys can actually navigate to this platform, you guys can connect your wallet. It'll essentially kind of sift through all the NFTs that you hold in the connected wallet, and then it'll show you the value, right? And some additional stats around your NFT. So they've got two pricing plans. They've got a free version, right? Which I'm going to just quickly show the audience here in a second. But they've also got a premium version. And so in order to get access to the premium version, they have their own NFT, which is a POKI NFT, right? It's lifetime pass. So once you have that lifetime pass within your wallet, you just connect it to their platform, and then you automatically get access to the premium version of this particular feature. So definitely go ahead and scoop up these NFTs, you guys, if you guys are interested in seeing the POKI NFTs. I'm actually going to be scooping one up myself here because, again, I really see what they're building, and they even have a mobile application. So this team knows what they're doing. Like, these guys are not playing around, right? So you guys can access this on get POKI.com again. And I'm going to just jump over here into the portfolio section, right? So as you guys can see, I already got my wallet connected here. I can see the total value of my NFTs. I can see how much ADA I currently hold within my wallet. And then I can also see the price history here. And as I mentioned before, that is a premium feature. So right now, since I don't have my premium or my lifetime pass, I don't necessarily get access to this, but just even the free version, man, I think is really awesome here. So Josh, I want to just kind of get your take on, whether or not this is a platform that you've essentially heard about, and what you could potentially see for a platform like this in the future, being that they're still quite young, but they're really giving us a lot of utility here and a lot of visuals to make informed decisions when it comes to our NFT collections.
There's quite a few projects that I have watched that are trying to do something like this, and the concept is not something that is new as far as what people have thought of, but I have yet to see a quality execution of it. And there's plenty of projects that I'm still watching, hoping to see this being developed. And this was the first time that I've heard about it. Before you mentioned it, I'd never heard about this project before. And I'm a big fan of data. I'm a big fan of information, whether it be macro information on the markets or personal information on your own progress. I don't think this exists, and if it does exist, I couldn't confidently say that it exists to this quality quite yet. So
Yep.
I'm going to be taking a look, and I might end up picking up some myself.
Yeah, and honestly, this is what this is all about. Again, you guys, us bringing this project spotlight here to essentially just share what we're finding, right? Because I think you and I are pretty close within the space. We obviously have to do our own research in order to be able to share stuff with the community. But using this platform to, I think, raise awareness to projects that are building like this, I think is the least that we could do, especially, like you said, when they're building quality products like this. Because I did see other people trying to execute on something like this, but not to the extent that these guys have done. And for me, what really opened my eyes was the mobile application. Like, that's not a joke. That's very difficult to build, right? Like we talked about the Gero wallet team doing something like that. And for these guys to be able to do this is really impressive. So in terms of what is already done, right? I'm looking at the milestones page. We've got a wallet history backend. We've got Cardano NFT price history. We've got POKI web browser and their mobile app. We've also got a migration and a rebrand, as well as alerts, which is really key, right? Because I think you'll be able to set up alerts for whenever, listings come on the market, in order to be able to, essentially take them off or purchase them right away. Now, in terms of what we can expect from this team in Q1 and Q2 of 2023, it looks like they'll be adding additional CNFT alerts, live market data to mobile, support for Cardano fungible tokens, right? So that's impressive. I actually missed this the first time around. So not only will they be dealing with NFTs, right? Non-fungible tokens, but imagine being able to track your, MELD token, COPI token history, all these different platforms within one single application. On top of that, they'll be supporting manually adding NFTs and fungible tokens, as well as support for staked assets. Wow, these guys are impressive, man. Very lastly, man, it looks like they'll be supporting trait floors for NFTs, and then they'll be adding user marketplace activity. So just a ton here, you guys. Again, just trying to raise awareness to what the POKI team is doing. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But again, man, Josh, any closing thoughts on this before we wrap up with the very last project that I want to spotlight?
I have huge admiration for projects that build something. They demonstrate that they're here to provide something for the community. And this one definitely seems like it's aligned with that. So I'm interested.
Nice, nice. Likewise. And like I said, man, this is not financial advice. I don't think that Josh and I are in the business of ever providing you guys with, financial advice and telling you guys what to purchase. But whenever we see value, again, we try to share that with you guys, i.e. the Frescos team, the ADA Ninjas, or the Danketsu, as well as what the team at POKI is building. Now we're going to wrap up here again, Josh. I want to thank you very much. It's been about an hour. Hopefully we're providing a lot of content and usefulness to people watching this video. But the last project that I want to highlight is actually going to be the Ape Society. So again, I'm going to go back and share my screen with the viewers here. And we're looking at jpeg.store. And right now, this particular NFT collection is trading at a floor price of 12.6K ADA. So this was the very first project within Cardano to break over the 10K barrier, the 15K barrier, and they got all the way up to, I want to say, about 17.7K ADA floor price. Now, granted, that was not sustainable. We definitely saw some people taking profits at that price range, and that essentially kind of fell back down to about 8 to 9K ADA, and that traded there for quite a bit of time until their recent release of the crafting abilities within their platform, right? So reading off the description here of this particular collection, the Ape Society is a collection of 7,000 unique NFTs generated on the Cardano blockchain. Every holder of this NFT collection is a member of one of 35 families. On top of that, they'll get access to their DAO, and they'll be aiming, to create tools, resources, unique art to harness the power of the community and to create a breeding ground for knowledge. So having said that, they've got two NFT collections, right? They've got the Ape Society, which is made up of the 7,000 apes that we see here. Now, granted, I know that there's a ton of ape projects that, we're all probably pretty familiar with, but I will say that these guys are doing something a little bit different in the sense that they've also got the cabin, right, collection. So that's a cabin collection of 10,000 NFTs, which you can actually use to stake different NFTs, right, within the actual Ape Society collection, but then also outside of the Ape Society collection. So they're essentially bridging the gap between their collection and other NFTs within the metaverse, because you can buy, for example, a Meld Diamond Hand, or even I think the Knights, right? You can buy one of the Knight NFTs and essentially stake that in one of the cabins for the Ape Society project. So again, I just wanted to raise awareness to what they're doing here. And I am a participant of this particular collection. Now, granted, I own a lot of the cabins, not necessarily the apes themselves, because those are trading at quite a high price right now. But having said that, what are your thoughts as to what the actual Ape Society team is building, if you have any?
I don't own any of these NFTs, but I have huge admiration for what they're doing. I did a video on them a while back, and I took an honest look at them and their understanding of tokenomics, their perspective on economy. Like it tells me that they understand things thoroughly. Their attempt at providing their holders with utility that the community can be excited about, and they have pushed Cardano into a recognizable class of NFTs. So I know that they're very controversial for a lot of different reasons, but you can't deny the reality that they've done a lot of things to bring attention to Cardano, and they've done a lot of things to push forward the Cardano NFT industry. And like by themselves in a bear market, you can't deny that. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I love what this project is doing. I think that they're creative in a whole lot of different ways. And they demonstrate a lot of knowledge to me whenever I hear them actually speak in person on Twitter Spaces and stuff. So this is a cool project. I'm not a financial supporter of it, but definitely a moral supporter of it.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a form of support right now. What we're doing, again, just sharing and providing the community knowledge about what they're building. Now, in closing, they do also have the Ape Society token, which is trading, I believe, on some of the top dexes, including MinSwap. And as I mentioned before, they're just going to be doing a lot of different things, and they also even have like an incubator process that they're looking to kind of get up and running, in which they're going to be collaborating with brand new NFT projects to kind of show them the ropes, because obviously they've shown the community that they're able to kind of navigate the space and really bring a community together. I think they're about 20,000 strong within their Discord, and when I tell you, man, those guys have each other's backs. It's quite impressive. So having said that, that is going to wrap up the project spotlight here. And so let's go ahead and just kind of wind things down again. Josh, I want to just thank you very much for your time. We are going on about an hour, in which we've started talking about the MELD 25 days of announcements. We also talked about the Cornucopias game and their recent NFT mints. And then we wrapped up by just highlighting some of these different projects here. So any closing thoughts that you want to share as a part of the end of this episode?
I think that about does it. I appreciate you having me on again, and I look forward to future opportunities to be here, because I think this is awesome and you're contributing awesome things to the community.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. And again, I'm excited for what this collaboration has in store for the both of us. I'll definitely be sharing, a lot of your content as it pertains to your future upgrades. And then even also with like what you've got going on with the AXO trade series and just a lot of the NFT content. Again, I think that's an area where I think I can do a little bit better. It's just kind of expanding and broadening out and talking a little bit more about NFTs, which is obviously something that you do very well on your channel. So in closing, guys, Yeah, not a problem, man. In closing, guys, definitely make sure to go ahead and subscribe to Josh's channel. I'm going to be sharing this particular video with him, and you could probably expect to see some of the content that we talked about here also shared on his channel. Now, having said that, if you guys appreciated this content, as I mentioned before, my name is Fareed, and my goal here is to provide you guys here with the latest and greatest when it comes to these types of changes that we see within the community. So if you guys appreciate this, also subscribe to my channel. And if you guys have any questions for Josh or me, then again, you can either reach out to him directly on his channel, or you guys feel free to drop a comment down below. Having said that, we will see you guys in the next video.